I'm here to help you use Zoom to teach your class session at Tulane School of Medicine. When you open up the Zoom app on your computer, you should see the list of meetings if you were the host of the meetings. If someone else scheduled the meetings for you, then they sent you a link in your email and you can just click on the link to open up your class session. I'm going to click on the session and start my class. It's going to ask me to join with computer audio, and then I can choose to start the video. So there are a few tricks to teaching online and using Zoom. One thing is it's really nice to have a microphone that is close to your mouth and it doesn't pick up ambient noise. The first time I bought one of these types of microphones, I went to Walmart and I bought one for $60. It works great, has great sound, and then I lost it and I was very upset. So I went to Walgreens and I bought this for $13 and it works pretty well and I'm happy with it. So the other trick about doing a Zoom session is to have the lighting in front of you. So I have actually a window in front of me, and so that students can see my face. And students like to engage with professors and ask questions, and it's really helpful if they can see you. And then they can kind of get a feel for that they're actually there with you and talking to you. And it's also nice to ask other students that are in your class to put on their video, especially when asking a question or talking with each other, so that you can increase engagement between students and faculty. So I'm pretending right now that I came into my Zoom session about 10 minutes before class, or 15 minutes, because I wanted to make sure that everything was working properly. So I have a choice. I can wait to greet my students face to face before I start class, and then the picture's all big and they can see me, or I can go ahead and have my PowerPoint up by sharing my screen. And so I already have the PowerPoint that I know that I want to teach with in that session. And so I've opened it, but my students won't be able to see it unless you hit the share screen and you select the PowerPoint or to share your entire screen. Now I have selected the PowerPoint and you can see the green line around it, so that's what I'm going to be sharing with my students. But I do like to have it in complete share screen mode, play it through the regular slideshow so it's nice and big. And you can see that my picture will still be in some part because I'm using Zoom, and you should be able to also screen through and see your students at the same time. And so I'm ready to teach my class if I just want to show them a PowerPoint. In this session, I'm actually using turning point questions. And so I have questions and I'm asking them to respond. And that will allow me to get feedback from the students on how well they did putting the material together that was from the pre-reading and pre-assignments that I had given. An alternative would be if you had parts of your session in which you needed to lecture or talk about and show them pictures, more like a lecture or a mini lecture. You could just be doing that at the same time, just as if you had questions, or you can use it to talk to your students, so either way. There are other times when you want to break your students into groups, and you're going to use Zoom to do that. So I'm going to stop sharing right now, and you can see that there you have some options at the bottom of your Zoom tool box or tool bar, and one of the options is breakout rooms. When you click on the breakout room tabs, it's going to open up and show you how many rooms. It tells you how many participants would be in that room if you were to create the rooms. I don't have anyone in this session right now because I'm using it to talk to you, but I could increase the number of rooms, and actually you'll see the number of participants go down when you do that, and you could adjust it accordingly so that you get the number of people in the room that is right. Anything more than 4 makes it a little bit difficult for students to talk to each other, so that's 4 or less would be a great number to start with. The other option is that you can manually put your students or whoever's in your class into rooms. I like the automatic because I usually have classes with a lot of students in them, and I don't want to sit down and have to separate them all myself. After you hit the create rooms, I can see there's only one breakout room because there's only one participant in the session, and that's me. But according to how many that you selected, all of the rooms will be listed and the participants in the rooms will be under that. You can move them around the participants by right-clicking and moving them to other rooms. And then you have other options. When you close rooms, you can set the timer to close the rooms for different things. 60 seconds is a really long time. I like to shorten it to about 10 seconds. And I like to allow the participants to come back into the main session where I am at any time if they need to ask me questions. And you yourself can hop around to the rooms and ask questions. And so those are good options. And then you can recreate the rooms at any time if you need to recreate your breakout rooms. And so that's that easy. In the chat box, you can chat to your students through your session, and your students will oftentimes ask you questions in this chat box. If they do, and you don't have your chat box open, you'll see a little flashing number or orange signal at the chat box, and you can click on it, and it'll open this white panel, which will show you the question that your students have asked you. And then you can respond to everyone, or you can select just to respond to that student if they ask you something that you don't need to tell everyone in the class. And the other cool option with Zoom is if you are in a session and you want them to see a file or to open up a document so that they can work on it in breakout rooms, you can go ahead and paste the file directly into the chat box, and so the students could go open it, go to their breakout rooms, and work on an assignment together. And so that's a really nice, file share is a nice option that they have in Zoom. There are also Zoom polling, which allows you to ask questions. That will be on a separate video. If you want to do polling, you can do that to up to 9 questions. So if you have a lot of questions that you want to ask in a section, I prefer to use Turning Point because I can set it all ahead of time. It's kind of in a PowerPoint design, and it allows me to distribute it pretty easily. So I hope that this was helpful and that you could see how to share your screen, select your PowerPoint, and you can put it in view just like you would if you were in the classroom, the slide viewer, and you can teach your class. And then the next sessions that I will have will show you how to use Turning Point in Zoom so that you can increase engagement between your students and yourself. Okay?